to this new episode of Continuum Gaming, and today we are going to have another Sailfish OS topic. As you can see, it's a follow-up to one I already did, but this time around we are going to test it with MicroG installed. So it's all about Sailfish OS with AD, so the Android runtime, let's call it like that. It's not really a runtime, it's something different, but in the end, the option to install Android apps on Sailfish and use them, of course, is called Alien David or AD. And we had an episode where we tested out if the most popular Android apps would run on the device without MicroG. In this case, we are going to test the ones that didn't run with MicroG installed now, because as you can see in another episode, if you want to see all the episodes, just click on the link. I'm going to show you what we are talking about in the info box there. And in the end, what we are going to test out is if these two are running, because we just installed MicroG on my Sony Xperia 10 Mark II in this case. I own a 10 Mark III. In addition to that, or better say the 10 Mark III is my daily driver, but I didn't want MicroG to be installed on it, and just to make sure that Google is really far away from my experience, more or less. But as mentioned before, it's much better to install MicroG than the Play services itself. So MicroG gives you a much better data protection than those original Play Store or Play services in the end. And so we are going to test if that is sufficient to run one of them, two of them, or neither of them, because I didn't test it till now. And what I'm going to show you here is really live, and we are not going to do anything with it other than just installing it, seeing if it's starting, and if those two are starting, then everything would be perfect. But I'm not really, I wouldn't be surprised if it wouldn't be the case, but we will see. So first off, what I'm going to use here is, of course, my usual suspects, more or less. So in the end, what I'm going to use here is my laptop, which is standing at the side, and it's going to run Firefox on it. Here it is. And it's going to run Firefox on it. And I'm using Screencast, which is a technology which is provided by SailfishOS, or better to say, can be installed on SailfishOS. And SailfishOS can then more or less take, or Screencast, whatever you want to call that, will now take screenshots every couple of microseconds, whatever, and try to bring them by hosting them on a small web server on this part into the web address. And in this case, I'm going to use, of course, Firefox to open that up on my desktop PC, or my laptop in this case. And in the end, what you're going to see is the stuff that is going on my smartphone, but there can be a pretty big delay. So if you have a look at that, there is a pretty big delay happening here. So that's not about my smartphone. I'm going to turn around and show you my screen at the same time as the big screen here, so you can see everything better, but you can see that there is a big delay between those two. And in the end, everything that is a delay between those two is more or less about Screencast, not about the smartphone itself. Okay, so first off, to be good, come on. There we go. First off, I'm going to put this into full screen mode, so we can use a little bit more of the screen space here. And then I'm going to turn around, and as mentioned before, on this device MicroG is now installed, and we are trying to install, in this case, Snapchat and Netflix, because those two didn't work without MicroG installed before. And now we are just having a look at if that has changed. Okay, so I'm going to turn around, show you my screen here on the smartphone, and of course the bigger one in the background there. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to stores in this case. This is of course just a folder for SailfishOS, so you could just rename that to anything, or it's not even there at the start. And what I'm going to go to is Aurora Store in this case. Aurora Store is a Play Store client, more or less, which is going to give you a little bit more of privacy. So they are not going to get too much information about you, but of course everything that you are installing from the Aurora Store is really the stuff that is on the Play Store anyway. So the apps and stuff like that are the same. It might take a little because we are requesting a new session. In some situations it takes a lot of time, sometimes it's faster, but you can see here we are. It works, and there is already Netflix available there because it's in the most favorite apps, of course, and so we can start with Netflix in this case. So I'm going to click on that. You can see it's more or less the same that you are used to. So in different ways, of course, with all the different stuff. This is just the Aurora Store, which is very helpful. You can see we have all the different testimonials and stuff like that there. We have, of course, the app itself, and I'm just going to hit install and wait a little till Netflix is installed again. Yeah, just to let you know, I more or less got rid of the apps I didn't really use in this case, because why should I keep them? If you want to have a look at the other apps I tested there, which worked, click on the button up there in the corner. You will get more information. And as you can see, Netflix is now installed. You can have a look at the starter, more or less. There it is. Netflix was installed, and there you can see MicroG settings are available too, which just means MicroG is installed on this smartphone. At least the core part. So there are a couple of different modules, let's say that, and I didn't install all of them, but the core part should be there. And let's see what's happening and if he is, let's say, more happy. And as you can see, as I mentioned before, it might be that it's not working, and it doesn't seem to work here neither. So not compatible, because Play Protect certified should be on there, and I'm not sure if that is really the case. And everything else should be fine. Using US, you can want to install Netflix on, tap security. Just looking through the different helper parts here, so we can really see what's happening here. Because it's a little bit unfortunate, of course, that it's not working. But as mentioned before, I'm just testing this with you for the first time, and I didn't really try it out in another way. If, for instance, you have any kind of tips to install that, just post them down below into the comment section. So maybe I'm just, for instance, missing one of the other parts I have to install for MicroG or something. So if you have a good idea how to do that, that should be fine. Because in the end, system does support the signature spoofing or something like that, it's called in English, and so it should be fine. And as you can see, we have Play Store installed, and we are going to activate the fake store in this case. Just in case, I'm just activating what I can here. And there are a couple of different other things that we can allow or not in this case. And everything else seems to be the default, nothing I really can do about that. Probably we should activate this too. So system really does put in a signature now. And everything other seems to be installed here. Many of the options you see here are just going to tell you if something is working or not. So if there is a checkbox, it doesn't really mean I activated them or something, but it's just telling you, yeah, it works for now. As you can see, this one, for instance, doesn't. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to activate most of the stuff in this case. just to make sure that we are really doing whatever we can for Netflix to run. And after that I'm going to deinstall it anyway, so it doesn't really matter for me now. Okay, this isn't necessary for Netflix as it seems anyway. Okay, so and now let's see what we can do here. I'm just going to reopen it. Yeah, but you already can see it's not going to work in this case. So Netflix is really one of the website or one of the apps that will not work, but the website will work. So just use the website in this case, because if you are using Netflix, of course, you really need to do this then, and you can't really use the inbuilt one. That's just like it is. Unfortunate, but I can't really change anything about it. And as mentioned before, this is really just to check if it's now working, but it might not. Okay, so the second one we had problems with, which is of course a great thing in itself, because only 2 apps of the, what was it, 15 or something, I'm not sure, really didn't work. And those are the major ones which really do stuff like checking if something is working or not. So next one is Snapchat. So let's see if Snapchat is running now with our new version here. And just to let you know, another thing that is newer on the smartphone, because there is a new version available now, is that Android 11 is a supported one. So we are no longer using Android 10, because there was an update of SailfishOS from the last version, or the last test we did. So install. Yes, please install. And as you can see, we have now an open button. I'm going to check on my home screen, come on, if I can already see something here. Yeah, there we are. Snapchat is installed now. Let's see if it's working now. As mentioned before, it doesn't really mean that this is going to work. I am just testing it with you now on the fly. So let's see if he is starting it. Currently it's pretty low. Well, it really got even killed. I'm going to get rid of all the apps just in case that, yeah, it's snappier now. So let's see. Yeah, better. Okay. But as you can see, he is talking to us and telling us, no, you can't really use this because the Google Play Store or services need to be installed on the smartphone. And yeah, MicroG doesn't really seem to give this app the option or the feeling that it's installed. So this is really unfortunate. Anticlimactic episode, sorry for that. But as you can see, we had to test it, and problem is it doesn't work. If you have any kind of suggestions for me, just let me know. So if anything I can do about this Snapchat and Netflix, if you know anything I can do about this and install something or whatever, other than of course installing Play Stores on a SailfishOS device, which I'm definitely not going to do. But if it's anything else, let me know in the commentary section below. We can talk about it and maybe we find a solution together about this problem. Okay, so thank you for watching. As mentioned before, have a look at the other episodes up there. I hope you had still fun with this. Yeah, it's anticlimactic, I know, but I can't really do anything about it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please give this a thumbs up if you liked the episode. If you want, subscribe to the channel, of course. And other than that, thanks and see you in the next episode. Bye. Bye.